exciting player probably in the world to watch was JW. Him and Kenny S were definitely the two, so loving the look of that. But I want to look more like the map pool was spoken about, but I'm still a bit confused by Train. Because Train, I don't think that, unless Dignitas have really switched up, like over the last few months, they haven't really played Train. I think they played it once, and that was against Kingwin, and they lost. So it's not going to be an easy one. We are going straight into the pistol round. This is going to be very nice and quick, but already we see Crims. He's taken down Config, and the start goes the way of Godsent.
A very quick life being claimed. He's going to be hungry for more. They're trying to find something straight down mid. You can see Cajun B looking to return a similar favor. Rabino, well, he's going to walk away completely up trumps, taken down by Schneider, who'll be doing the work with a close range of the Glock. Godsent, they've got the huge success, a 5 versus 3 already very early into this round. That's really the big thing to take stock of, the fact that, well, we've only had really 30 or so seconds taking place. There's some very big picks being found, and well, now the decision for them, they can play this one nice and slow. This works in their favor, because now they decide, well, do we want to push onto A? Do we want to head towards B? And Schneider, oh, he's going to hand a lovely little just one-tap straight to the cranium of Magis. JW going to follow up on towards Cajun B, and, well, Dignitas, they've crumbled in this pistol round.
Yeah, they went for some early aggression. They've tried their best to take the fight to Godsent early on. It has not paid off. They've been ended one by one. Schneider, he's already got as many kills as he did against an IP, so that's a great start for him. There was mention by him, of course, that sort of the pressure got to him for the first time in his career. I don't think the pressure's here right now. Already starting things off wonderfully. The pistol goes the way of Godsent, and now, well, it's going to be some sort of force by, I imagine, from the side of Dignitas.
I'd be very surprised if we didn't see that, because that's something Dignitas not only do they tend to do, but also kind of fits the map. It fits the way overall you would kind of play this one out. And well, taking a look at things, it's actually be just a lot of investment into these Deagles.
Yeah, now, well, we're sort of looking for this initial start. Nice shot from Config, opening up on to Pronax. Quick aggression now coming from the rest of the team. Flusher out, another one from Cajun. The Deegs doing the damage, leaving just 3 players left, all rifle players, you have to admit, so there's going to be a lot there.
The dream's not over just yet. Dignitas, they can still do the work with the Glocks. Or Glocks, Deagles, who even knows anymore? They're just doing, well, really just landing the shots, and, well, that's what counts, so I don't really want to take this one away from them. Looking to see if they can just play the positions, though. That's really where their strengths will lie, because, as you mentioned, the 3 rifles, that's what's standing on the Godsent side of things. They can just isolate them off and will play the trading game, albeit it's not quite sided towards them. If they play their cards right, it should be fairly easy on their side of things, as they are going to be looking to cross over towards the B site, heading up through those doors and playing towards mid. MSL going to be holding towards window, just holding the angle, playing the patience game for Crims to walk dead center into his crosshair, spamming away, won't quite find the shot. And the rifles, well, they just had a clear path onto the site.
Yeah, looking at Cajun, though, he's managed to pick himself up an SMG, and the HP is very, very low on the Godsent side. 2 of them with a combined HP of 11. So there is definitely an opportunity here. The only problem is I'm not sure how much knowledge they have of this very, well, low position that the Godsent side have. And unfortunately, it does look like they're going to go for the save. So a little bit unlucky with that one. Didn't decide to find anything a little bit later on. Cajun going to try and save this SMG into the next round, which will be valuable in terms of the amount of money they'll be able to make. But it's still a little bit disappointing, because they could have gone for this. If obviously they don't have the knowledge that the HP was that low.
I feel like it was very much a dwindling factor, and it does come down to knowledge, but it also comes down to something that really kind of sits with the Deagles' position.
Schneider just died.
Well, that's just happened.
They lose an AK just after the round because of that, so a little bit of a buy-up going to have to come in. And, well, that is kind of unfortunate, but not the end of the world. They still keep the 2 AKs back into the next, and you can see they're going to buy up 1 more. Schneider will, in fact, buy another, and then Flusher will... Actually, they're going to buy up 2 more, so they're pretty much going all in into this one. 1 SMG to make the money. The rest is just going to be these rifles. Now they have to try and keep it clean as possible. That's the big thing. Don't want to lose any more of these rifles. Don't want to have too many more rebuys, because we know that Dignitas are going to come back on their CT side. And, well, Magisk already starting off nicely.
This is the problem. They wanted to keep it clean, but they're walking right into the cast of Dignitas. They're ready and waiting over towards long, just in a prime position to hit these shots. This is almost easy pickings for them, just to spam away, and we'll hope the pistols can do the work for them. This Config, he will be trying to stay alive, just playing around the corner, waiting for his teammate to peek off of him over from pit, which he's actually going to be falling back into himself now, so they're going for this double star setup. Unfortunately, he's already fallen, backed up by, well, dwindling numbers. And at this point, Dignitas, they did have a nice setup. They could have tried to do a bit more damage. The card's just, well, it's not quite been played right, and it's going to be just another round falling into the hands of Godsent.
Yeah, a rifle was lost, so still forcing a rebuy of such, so not anything too crazy, but considering they had a UMP, a couple of pistols saved, it is a little bit unfortunate. But now comes the buy. Cajun Glass Cannon AWP, so definitely going to throw that one straight in there. And, well, we know that this is a map he was always renowned for. Even when he was on Astralis, it was like, okay, Cajun, Orping, dust2. A bit like Smith's, but I still feel like Smith's had that mantle a little bit more firm. Either way, Crim's taking a little bit of early damage as they go aggressive down mid, again pushing all the way onto short, and looks like they're going to challenge Cajun straight off. He'll find the first shot. Not going to give any chance for JW to do anything there, and well, now we see the more passive Godsent fall back after they were punished for the aggressive peak.
The problem with them being punished is there's no response coming in at all, so they're already left one man down. And well, where do they even go from this? That's almost a fair point himself. It's, well, Crim's not sure what the thought process was behind that one, but going to be just giving him a bit of a love bite, going to be going on there. Now Cajun B, he's dead set towards shot, spots out Pronak's hands, won't quite land the shot, but it's still information for him to try and play with, as now he will be readjusting himself, playing over towards Car, which is a prime position in terms of being this pivotal turret-like player, just holding things off as Pronak's going to be trying to dive on down, playing this waterfall style of role, but won't actually go for the jump. Actually going to be just creeping around the right corner now. A very nice shot on towards the cranium of Cajun B, so going to be taking down the AWP player. And actually going to walk away fairly intact, so he's done what we said was, well, not being done. Pulls away back to an equal scenario, a 4 versus 4, and Dignitas once again left in the dark in terms of information.
Yeah, Pronax pushing through the smoke. There's not anybody too close by. Config smoking that off and retreating back into CT, so this does give a great opportunity now for Pronax to do some real damage. And this is a problem. The smokes are not brick walls. He's going to get a great push here. Obviously, Magisk now may be the surprise factor going back towards long, but it's whether or not he spots out the T players before the bomb actually goes down. And, well, now they are going to know that something is up, something has gone wrong, and Magisk, he's going to be the prime factor here on this retake. The remaining players are going to come rotating. You have to look at the point of Flusher as well, holding that lurk position, but by the looks of it, they're going to challenge us all from CT, and already we'll see Magisk doing his work from long.
He needs to have an impact, and he's found himself one. Going to be looking for the second on towards Schneider, who's trying to have a response of his own, and he will pick up one, so the trade has rolled in, but Config still quick to do the work. Crim's going to find another, quick on the trade, and we're going backwards and forwards, but it's still just not looking so good, and MSL, he's going to fly on in the hands of Dignitas to allow him to follow on with, but cutting it pretty close.
They even got this. I'm not sure they do. It's going to be very, very
nick
close.
Of time.
Ooh.
Cutting that one very, very close indeed.
0.1, literally 0.1.
0.1 seconds, that is...
That's how you cut it close to Dignitas.
It's a round. It's still a round nonetheless. Can't take that one away from them all. They did manage to pull it off. And, well, parts of it, the decisions were kind of there. They certainly had the bare bones for the retakes. We saw Magisk playing his role perhaps even perfectly, even towards the second frag was it was a follow-up distractions style play.
Every single player having an input in that round, so definitely important that they do. They get the AWP back onto Cajun as well, so still having their full buy intact. Limited a little bit on Molotovs, but other than that, it's fairly reasonable. On the T side, they have had to skimp a little bit. Pronax going down to just a Tech 9, and we have JW now on the AWP. And, well, this is obviously quite a decent buy for them. Pronax is normally the one to take the hit, and will just go aggressive, possibly try and just find a trade frag and leave the 4 fraggers, I suppose, of the team to do their work. In terms of the setup for the CTs, pretty split at the moment, a very, very standard setup, but quite loose towards middle, really relying on Config to do his work from the CT spawn.
Pressure certainly beginning to mount on his shoulders, but I'd say it's not just on one player, really. Yes, he kind of wants to find a pick, but it's very much spread across the board. That clock is going to begin to wind its way down. In terms of positioning from the Godsent side of things, still is very much biased towards mid. JW almost tempting fate in regards to deciding if he wants to go for a bit of a play. Pronax the man just to keep on going for the same old smoke on towards short, trying to see if anyone will go aggressive, hand him something to play with in terms of information. Of course, he's masterful in that sort of aspect.
Yeah, we do have a little bit of a crossfire in mid. The flashbang popping out will force back Crims for a second, and now we do have the full-on B split coming in 30 seconds. There's no chance to change their mind. They have to wait for this smoke to fade. There isn't too much utility left on the CT side, just 3 flashbangs, and look at the position there. The lineup on the head is already in play. Crims will smoke off CT, but they have to move very, very quickly. They have very little time. JW, he'll stop Config through the smoke, but Rubino's got himself 2. This is shutting down this push, but there's the trade. Just looking at MSL, finds one. The time's ticking away. MSL does the damage, and only 5 seconds left. There's nothing that can be done now. JW, he's lost the round, and, well, he takes a pick for his troubles. Should save the AWP, but MSL, Rubino, they combine to do the job.
Very solid stuff coming in from Rabino. Did exactly what he needed to do, just playing around those angles, going for the continuous repeats, and lands the shots, picking up two, and following it up with constant frags. And of course, the team play, once again, sitting true. And that's one thing to really sell home about Dignitas. Godsent, yes, they're picking up rounds respectively, but a lot of them come down to these individual picks here and there. Dignitas, very much more towards this team play, I think.
Well, the other thing is a lot of the work there was being done by JW. He was finding picks around the board, but a lot of the time, again, it was just a little bit too late. If he had, say, an extra 5-10 seconds, he could have planted the bomb, got into a 1v2. Who knows what happens, but that's the risk of playing the clock so low. If the bomb is dropped, if MSL does exactly what he does right, which is play the time perfectly and get some really heavy impact kills, then there's not too much that can be done. And, well, you look at the buy situation now, there was no bomb plants and no money made for JW. He's just got to keep that AWP, which could be a big influencing factor, but it's not going to be at all. He's taken down out of the round already. We'll switch over to Pronax, may even opt to drop that to Schneider or somebody else. We'll see what actually happens in this scenario.
Looks like Crim's actually going to be the man to wield that hammer, which, well, he could do some damage. That's really going to be the end goal, and I'd like to see him save it, but that's, well, very unrealistic when you take a look at the clock, you take a look at how the CT side setup are going to be reacting. They know it's in play. That's going to be a factor on its own. As now Crims, he's going to be going for the peak, gets punished straight off, won't actually find himself a tag alone, knocked down to just 1 HP, a slither left as now the smoke response is going to roll on out. The flash is there to pop up as well. Pronax trying to call something back. The spray down looking like it's going to be coming in from MSL. Finds just so many frags. Rabino there to aid him. And it's just insult to injury as they mop them up. And there we have it. It's going to be an equal heading scoreline. Dignitas starting to claw this one back.
Well, people were, we were saying who would be the fan favorite in this one. Godsent seemed to get the love, but crowd seemed to be behind Dignitas. Spraying down, what, a few players on eco rounds and getting a cheer like that. You have to say, maybe we were a little bit wrong about who's getting the support. Nice work there by MSL combining with Rabino, but at the same time, no real armor. It was only that 1 AWP that was the bigger factor. Bai does come back onto the board, but JW, of course, saving that AWP means he doesn't have any money into this round and has to just go with a Deeg.
At the end of the day, it comes down to, do they have the grit to hold up in these buy rounds? Occasion B, he's going to come out with a flat out yes. Rabino following with the second pick with this double up on towards Flusher. And Godsent, they're being shown, well, you better be bringing everything you've got into this matchup, because currently Dignitas starting to really pull ahead. So that's all going to be on the shoulders of these 3 rifle players. MSL going to be going very aggressive, will get punished. Crim's going to pick up 1 for that trouble. But even then, Cajun B quick to trade things back. Another almost somewhat aggressive peak, but that's basic stuff down mid. It's not even, well, I guess you can't even consider that aggressive. That's just a standard dust2 mid peak.
It has its risks, of course, but so does peeking anywhere on the map, I suppose. And, well, at the moment, the pick play really is working for Dignitas. 3 kills off the back of AWPs. Rubino, he does pick up the secondary up sometimes. You see it on overpass as well, playing up close. And Cajun just rattling off shots, taking down his 3rd kill of the round, doing some nice work across the board. Leaves just Crims, has the bomb, a couple of nades and an AK, but not anything to really write home about. It is 3 rounds in a row now for Dignitas, so 2,900 will be the loss bonus for Godsent, unless, of course, Crims does something crazy. He is a master of clutches, but not in this circumstance. Cajun B with 4 kills, and, well, looking at the money, I think they're just going to have to maybe buy a couple of upgraded pistols and then go back into the next round with a big buy.
So in terms of upgraded pistols and adding in the context of the map we're on dust2, is there any card they can play here? Are they going to be trying to go for a bit of a smoke play over towards the A site and getting the bomb down by just charging up long, which is something we see every now and then, or is it just going to be a flat-out rush B or even a bit of a mid play?
I would say that the easiest way to get the bomb down is to just rush short with smokes, because you can normally get past the AWP. You may lose a player or two, but the problem is MSL has just not allowed that. They've gone very aggressive over towards mid to make sure that there's no chance of any, well, there's nothing they can do. They're just being shut down straight away, and that was a really nice round, really smart round from Dignitas. They took the fight to Godsent. They made sure there was no way they were getting anywhere near them and just built up their economy. MSL now going to upgrade straight to another M4, and their money is looking really good.
What it comes down for me is if we basically said, what are Dignitas going to do in that round, and the response was being rush short, well, that's exactly what they did. MSL is me just punching them right with an uppercut straight to the face in that round. But as we mentioned before, it comes down to these buy rounds. This is what counts. As we are moving on into our 9th. Godsent, 5 rifles on the board, a good chunk of utility to play with. It's nowhere near pitch perfect, but it's enough. Because now they are just going to be going flat out, barreling up towards the A site. Cajun be the man to watch as they will be trying to cross right through his crosshair. And with the first shot going to be ever so important, he will miss. that could be somewhat crucial as the flashes will begin to pop off. And now Config really going to be the gatekeeper here, trying to go for a bit of a follow-up spray. Godsent, they're not quite going to bind the bullet. They're backing off, preparing to go for a bit of a fake play.
Yeah, the bomb rotates away. They've done a lot of damage onto Config, and he has to be a little bit careful for the rest of the round. And because of that rotation away, they have actually given up mid presence. So this has worked quite nicely, but Config 5 HP, no problem. He's going to catch Crims in the back. Still 2 players, this duo on the B site, so not too worried about the presence at the moment, and only real player I'm looking towards is Flusher, who's managed to get himself into CT. Config 5 HP. If he manages to get this kill, then something has gone severely wrong for Flusher, unless he's looking in the wrong direction, and there you go, evens it up. This is going to leave them with a little bit of a problem now, because mid has gone one way, although Magis going all the way through long will even things back up, and really we're looking at Flusher here. He's got to be a mantle to stop one player getting through, and even then, you're waiting for the other players to try and get onto the site, leaving just one, Pronax.
Does he know MSL's there? That's really the thing to watch, and the answer is going to be a flat-out no. And that's the B side, just this dynamic duo outplaying them mentally. And to say that in terms of positioning, you're outplaying that style of push, and basically for the Godsent side of things, their saving grace would have been Flusher, that's a bit of a worrying scenario for me, at least personally.
Well, there was a lot of things that I always like about Dignitas. I think MSL and Rubino playing together, it works very well here. It works very well on Nuke as well. So I think just as a partnership, they are doing very well together. It is early in the game, not going too crazy just yet. In terms of Magisk as well, once he realized that they'd taken over CT short, the chance of there being anybody towards long was pretty damn slim, so he takes the risk, ends up flanking on the player towards mid, which I'm pretty sure was JW, and then after that, it was sort of an isolated push of, okay, well, we've run out, let's just rush through tunnels, and Rubino and MSL, they played it nicely. Rubino baits them in, gets a kill, and then the next kill's just nice and easy. So, nice setup from Dignitas. A few mistakes along the way, but a lot of it just came down to the idea not quite working. I liked it. I liked the aggressive short and then fall back as they gained a lot of map control, but it didn't work in the end, and now they're actually taking what looks like a tactical pause just to be able to sort of slow things down. It has now been 6 rounds in a row for the CT side. Money is starting to boom quite significantly. We have 11,000 on the config, 8,900 on Magis, Rubino, and Cajun with over 9,500 as well. Only MSL, and he's actually top fragging at the moment, top of the board anyway.
I think the factor to keep in mind with Godsent and something that people are somewhat overlooking is that these players are all going to be keeping themselves composed. Yes, you could say that, well, there could be that one kind of risky player who at times will even come out and said, yes, I've struggled here and there. For the most part, JW, for example, he's not going to crack and crumble under the pressure of being at a LAN. It's not going to happen, so it will allow them to get themselves back into this game if they can bring the strategy to the table, and that's something that I really do want to sell home, because I do feel like people, in terms of Counter-Strike nowadays, it's kind of this, was it a comeback or was it a choke?
The thing I'm looking at is whether or not that they'll crack under pressure. I don't think they'd ever crack under pressure. It might be more frustration. Because I do, like, against NIP, I don't think it was the pressure of them going, oh my God, it's the group stage. I don't think we're going to be able to do it. No, it was never that. It was,
that'd be ridiculous if it was.
Why is this not working? Why am I not able to take this shot? Why are we not finding these entries onto the site? So that's where there is still that problem with Godsent. As said, like, I think a lot of people are also overlooking the fact that this is, although it's an old roster come back together again, and it's like, oh yeah, it's basically the same thing. No, it's still a new challenge again. They've got to go back. Things have got to start again. And whether or not it will work as well as it did before is another thing altogether. You have to remember a lot of those players were in their prime when that began, and they're definitely not all at the same point now. You have to wait and see. Either way, we are back into the round. Double AWPs now for the CT side once again. Rubino picking up the secondary, and just some AKs. Not a whole lot of utility either for Godsent.
Godsent currently, they are going to be playing the same card. It's just going to be putting some pressure over towards short. I'm expecting the same smoke to come out from Pronax unless he has other ideas, which, if he doesn't throw that smoke, that does give him the inkling. They are going to gamble a lot more towards the A site in terms of actually pushing, which is something we don't see them do too often. Usually we just see Pronax go for the same smoke, bait out on his own. But no, there you have it. They're going for the 3-man push. They are committing. But Config there to knock Pronax down himself. Flusher quick to trade things back on towards Config. But will it be enough? Cajun B still there to hold the angle. Magis now going to be the supporting lineup player. Schneider will take the head off of Cajun B in return and should be able to find himself a bomb plant. but the frags are rapidly falling out of contention for Godsent. They need to pick something up. The HP on Dignitas is going to be a bit of a saving grace. It's the same storyline for Godsent.
Yeah, now things have come back into contention here. Magisk, again, doing work from long, and Crims has now rotated back around. He's the one with the majority of the HP, and if he's here, if he finds this frag, things do become a little bit more problematic. He's also holding them back quite a bit here, but there we go. The push will come in. Flusher, he's the only one left on the site. MSL, he can just start defusing the bomb. Crims, he will have enough time to get there, but I don't think he's actually going to stop this defuse. It's planted for sure, and that's going to be it. He'll find that one frag, but Magisk, he plays a big role. Dying actually pays off.
What else is there to say? I think even if the bomb was planted for long, it would have been over anyway, because it's basically reliant on him hitting a one-zap while strafing. There was no way he would have had the time to stop and then go for the shot, and etc., which basically it is a losing round. And well, that means that we find ourselves staring down the barrel of a 7-3 scoreline in Dignitas' favor. They are playing very well. Of course, the one kind of almost perk for Godsent is their economy starting to almost rebuild itself continuously, which means these 5 rifles on the board, it's going to be a big aid. I want to see something away from short. And already Cajun B, he's going to be going towards short, taking the fight back towards the top mid and punishes Pronax.
Yeah, and the one thing I do feel about Astralis' T-side that I enjoyed so much yesterday was it was very dynamic. We saw them sometimes just aggressively rush long. We saw them go towards B and switch things up multiple times. A lot of this has been going towards short. I feel like a lot of teams do that, and they have tried some avenues towards long, but it does seem that at the moment it's not working. So maybe something else needs to be done. Again, we're going to see a mid-push coming in, but there is a crossfire in place. Looking at Config over the edge of the smoke. We haven't actually seen any aggression just yet, and Crims is going to try and throw down a secondary smoke, which should give a little bit. Rubino with the AWP is going to take another pick, and Config now peeks out, perfectly timed, even going to go for a little bit more. Nicely done there. And this is a complete shutdown round for Godsent. Not a single frag yet on the board, unless Flusher is going to counter-spray through this smoke, and now they know exactly where he is.
Spotted, left someone awry over towards the upper tunnels, and it's going to lead to a very bloody end. The frag just not being found, and well, now you look at this and go, what do we see from Godsent? Is there anything? Because the point I'm kind of selling is short, but at the same time I feel it's almost unfair just to rally on that point alone. Is there anything in terms of just global that's working out for Godsent, and they can maybe just change a couple of slight things and then apply that to actually walk away with a round instead of just a couple of frags here and there?
Well, one thing that did seem to get them a few earlier frags was the AWP. I think that's always, like, that's a very basic strategy to sort of come into play. But, well, they are trying the long rush in this round, so we'll see whether or not it pays any dividends. Of course, they are doing it against quite a lot of players, and, well, it seems that the read was pretty damn good. A lot of damage being done to Cajun, so JW will grab another. Eventually will be shut down by Rubino, and they're not actually going to be able to save the AWP there, so there will be a few rebuys. Not going to be too troubling, but yeah, back to the point. I think JW getting on an AWP again. He found a couple of picks the last time he had it, and it does bring sort of a bit more of a dynamic style to their game. I think that's basic for any team, really, and they are just constantly forcing with the AKs. Of course, if they get one of these to work, then they will get an AWP for free, but at the same time, it's now, what, 9-3, Dignitas looking to try and get themselves 10+ rounds on the CT side. You do have to be a little bit skeptical of whether or not Godsent will be able to come back from that, and Rubino again is going to start things off with those AWPs.
Dignitas, they're hitting the shots for Godsent. There appears to be a very blatant missing link. The question is, when will the penny drop, and when will the changes be made? As we are going to be looking to see what sort of decisions they will roll into this round. Of course, they already have the one-man disadvantage. Rubino just landing it with the AWP over towards lower tunnels, which means now, well, their same play is going to be coming back out on the board. 3 players stacked over towards short. You can see the lure coming in towards long, and Pronax is caught completely off guard, jumping midair, trying to just claw some hope in terms of finding a frag or doing anything at all, but it's just not going to happen. And now they're stacked towards short. That is all Godsent have left, and I feel like I'm painting a very bleak one-sided picture, but is there anything not to say?
Well, at the moment, it just seems like the picks are just all going the way. Like, the aggressive pushes that Dignitas are doing are working. They're finding frags all the way across the board, and it's a similar sort of style of smokes. They're throwing that smoke almost every time, the Molotov onto the site. I'm not sure what happened there, the high smoke, but either way, that means something's missing. Cajun, apart from a couple of flashes, he's been given quite a lot of free roam to go for these AWP shots. It's going to have to be a nice headshot coming out. Flusher already doing a lot of damage, but there's Config, the surprise factor, peeking out from Goose to find a kill, and already we're down to just 2 players. Make that one, and all is down to Flusher, who will be removed from the map by Magisk, getting a triple kill in the round, and that's 10-3 now for Dignitas.
The problem for the problem for Godsent there in that scenario, should I say, is that they basically ended up resorting to finding a pick, but then the trades were rolling in from Dignitas, and they can afford to play the trades. They have a huge manpower advantage. There's nothing stopping them. They're more than happy to go 1-for-1 because they're always going to come up trumps. Something still has to change on the Godsent side, and I feel like a bit of a record player in terms of mentioning short, but we're seeing it every single round, Tom. I want to see something towards B. I want to see a bit of a crazy mid to B play, even a play pushing through mid, smoking off the left side of mid, and going to CT, just something different.
Yeah, well, they tried this round. They went for that AWP, finally got bought up, and JW was removed from the map by Rubino. So even with the AWP, the pick's not going to come in, and yeah, we'll see how they actually react to that. Schneider has picked it up, which, well, in the days of the previous Godsent, he was the primary AWPer for that team, him and Twist, who would have those sort of explosive games where he picks it up, and definitely looking to see whether or not he can trade this one back. Of course, in terms of the AWPs on the CT side, they have rotated a little bit more. Like you can see Cajun taking a slightly more aggressive angle onto short, but he does just switch it up. This is the position he's been primed for. So that's the other thing. It's like you know that this guy is going to play around these angles. Are there not any sort of smokes that they could use to counter that? We saw Shox do one from long. They are actually looking like they're about to do a running boost to try and get past, and, well, it does get them past for a second. Cajun's still going to hit the second shot. Going to look for a little bit more. Crims, while blind, finds the headshot onto Cajun B, so he is removed, but it's still a man advantage and a lot to be done for the T side.
Looking towards Flusher, he could be doing some huge damage, but he's already going to be punished. Taking down Morabino, Pronax there to trade things back onto a config, goes to the plant. Grim's going to be there to, well, basically keep him safe because he should have died there. They will make it work. It's going to be a 2 versus 2. The aggressive peak going to come in towards long, and just why?
Well, Magis seems to win those duels every time. He's hitting every shot when he's on long, playing with the M4 as well. And, well, there's Rubino finding picks all the way across the board. Triple kill for him. Another big performance coming in across the board for Dignitas. There's nobody slacking. Every single player on 10+ kills, which is not something you see too often in the game. It's much more likely to see someone just hard carrying. Rubino spoke about the sort of, well, the level of this player can go through the roof or he can sort of fall off. He's definitely on point at the moment, and they're shutting down Godsent every single turn. Yes, that time they got a bomb plant. It was a little bit better in terms of the rounds, but now we even see the auto sniper. There's the first for MSL. Spamming away, will throw a nade to try and counter any more aggression. Not quite going to connect with the frags. Just spamming away the railgun in point at the moment. There's the second and third, looking for the fourth through the smoke. It's actually going to be the Molotov, but either way, the auto sniper has done the damage perfectly, leaving just one player left, Schneider to be removed. Magic's, of course, getting a kill, and what a dominating half.
Can we get Red Eye back up on the commentating booth right now just to whip in some brutal Savage Rect? Because I feel like that's kind of the most apt thing to bring to this one right now. I feel this is such a horrible match to be sitting here and witnessing. I had such high hopes for Godsent, but currently I feel like I'm almost horrendously biased towards Dignitas. But it just comes down to the sheer decisions Godsent are making. They're going for the same repetitive playbook, and albeit I can see them making the attempts, and maybe this is this frustration element of them trying to basically make something work and going, well, why is it not working? These flashbangs should be doing this, this, and that. But ultimately, there has to be a fallback plan, even if it's just going aggressive, because the big thing that sits with me is the one round they actually go aggressive with just Tech-9s out long, they do the most damage they practically did with rifles.
One saving grace, though, for when watching Dignitas, their CT side is normally much stronger. They have a very good CT side on most maps, and sometimes their T side can be a little bit lackluster, and you do have to sort of bring that into contention. We've seen it before where they have just fallen flat on their T side, so definitely looking to see what Godsent can do there, but a lot of it relies on the pistol. They're 12-3 down, a pistol anti-eco rounds go the other way, and they're one round away from losing the game, and, well, here's a nice little showcase for the auto sniper. I don't think it really needed one. I think Get Right has definitely done that in the past on Inferno, but, well, 3 kills, almost getting the 4th, really showing how much money they had towards the end. But back to the pistol, utility on Magisk and MSL, and then you look at Pronax, he's got himself the kit.
Very much reliance on the Kevlar on the Godsent side. They're looking just to land the clean shots and do the damage. The smoke will be landing on towards short. Flusher going to be going for the aggressive peak, finds himself just a couple of tags, but it's going to just be rather fruitless. MSL there to punish him. Rubino now just going to be holding the push, takes down Crims, looking for one more on towards Pronax. Pronax is going to be doing the damage, finds himself a pick, makes it 2 on towards Config, so we'll claw back the trades required. But the bomb is darting straight through CT, straight through a Molotov, in fact, over towards A. And well, now the big question is, JW, are you aware? Because I bloody well hope so. You've got such a hard job in front of you, knocked down to so low HP, being pushed in from short as well by Cajun B. And at this point, the bomb is going to go down completely uncontested. Schneider and Pronax, they have their work completely cut out for them.
And Schneider aggressively pushing out Pronax. Well, they're both coming from similar angles. There's not going to be any presence from Long, leaving Magisk in his prime position. Schneider, he's going to connect onto the first, looking for MSL, needs to hit this headshot, jumping around his Pronax, and oh, he's going to get the frag as well. Now it's all down to Magisk, over towards Pit, tapping away. They have a kit onto Pronax, but he's the one in CT. Doesn't matter. Schneider hits the headshot. They should be able to get this defused no matter what, and Godsent make the retake work.
Some nice stuff coming in. You mentioned that the pistol ammo is ever so important. They're going to pick it up. They're going to get themselves to Fuller. And now, providing they can take this fallout round, which they should be taking, of course, the question will lie into what Dignitas should bring into this one. And I'm basically looking for a solitary flash, and that's about it, which I think is a safe bet.
Yeah, I don't think Dignitas really need to risk anything in this circumstance. They can buy up a pistol or two, but if you know that you're going for the full force in the next round, there's not much point investing too much. Just try and drop a frag or two, get one of those rifles, force them to rebuy, and then if you can get a bomb plant, you've done marvels. It's not anything too crazy here. So you can see from the buy, Godsent know this is coming. They brought up 4 rifles and an SMG onto Flusher, which, well, used to be his primary weapon. He used to use it all the time. And, well, Cajun, he's going to get himself one. JW Pronax combining perfectly, and that will be it. Godsent clean up nicely. They do lose 1 rifle, but it'll be picked back up, so the SMG is all that is lost. And now we see the buy coming back up, and Cajun, he's going straight for a glass cannon orb.
Maybe it'll work out for him. Looking towards this battle down mid, because it wouldn't be the first time we've seen a rifle go for a peek from the short barrels position. I'm hoping we don't quite see that, because Cajun B feels like he's landing the shots currently. Of course, you can see here just a mop-up rolling in terms of those pistols being mowed down by the Famison M4 in tow. Now, let's take a look at these positions. This CT side somewhat lax over towards the A side, playing very passively towards the back of those boxes. In terms of mid, you can see Schneider's playing close to that wall, holding the angle, waiting to see if a push does come in. Of course, he'll be supported by Pronox over in CT, which is really going to be the key thing about that position. And then you have the Soldier member over towards B, but, well, the O, it's, well, so brutally fitting. The nades from both of these teams, they've been on point.
Yeah, so much damage already being done. JW goes aggressive, but it's Config to find 2 and MSL to find the 3rd. Already looking like they're about to break this straight back. 2 players left, Crims and Schneider. And, well, although the smoke will fail, it's not going to be too much of a problem. Rubino will find the frag onto Crims, and now it's just the Lone Ranger of Schneider. Doesn't have any utility, just has a kit, a rifle, and some armor. And all he can really do at this stage is save. And you look at the money on Godsent, of course, we know that they fully forced into this one. They had all rifles across the board. They didn't have anything too crazy in play. Their money is not good. 3,800 onto Pronax. Everybody else is below 2K. And that's just a scary prospect. Of course, they will get themselves 1,400 extra, so could go for somewhat of a force, maybe with a couple of Famises, but it would be so risky to go for anything here. And without the rifle, it may not even be worth it. The one thing to mention, though, they're running out of rounds.
Very quickly so as well. It's now 13-5 Tom in this first map.
Look how
Dignitas
many they got in a row.
really stepping up to the plate. And well, that string, it says it all. It speaks for itself. They had a very nice performance in the first half. Godsent, they did some damage in the second half.
Godsent won both pistols. And they have 5 rounds. So it does just tell a story of they haven't won a single buy round. That's it. They haven't won a single buy round all the way through the game. So, yeah, absolute shutdown. Cajun looking to do the same again. We will see a force coming out of Godsent, so they are just throwing everything to the wall, going for everything at once. Flusher with the jump scout at the moment, sort of crouching at the same time just to try and reveal as little, but still able to go for those shots. Will connect onto Config and lower his HP a little bit. Very slow round coming out from Dignitas, and at the moment, things seem to be working out for them. Of course, Flusher's still going to be just jumping over to short, looking to try and find some sort of aggression, and quite a heavy presence towards mid at the moment. And we can actually see that other than JW falling, there is no presence towards A. It is all in mid, apart from the one player on B, which is Crims, up close and personal.
In terms of short, Flusher still just lying in lurch, waiting to see if anyone comes his way. MSL now going to be going aggressive over towards mid. Schneider there to kind of hold things off, not going to be spotted out at all, and allowed to find 2, going for the 3rd. Won't quite be given an opportunity to go for the face, and well, going for it at that point, is actually not worth it. He should just hang back, wait for flusha to group one up with him, and then they actually have an opportunity to try and just do even more in regards to this round, as now they can just kind of hold these angles. I don't really think the winning potential is going to be there, especially with the lack of a kit, because they are just being choked out of the site. But the damage is the thing to keep an eye on.
Yeah, a little bit more of attack coming in. Schneider will find the first as well, so now back to a 2 versus 2. However, both players don't have too much to play with here. Schneider does have a smoke and a flashbang, but on 28 HP, you have to wonder if this is worth it, unless flusha can find a kill very quickly, because they don't have a kit. They don't have anything really to play with in this round, and it's ticking away. There's not really any hope other than holding the players in the site, and I think that's the idea, trying to get an exit kill. Will find both kills, in fact, but all it's doing is damage. That's it. Damage is the key, and while looking at the money on the Dignitas side, it's not going to do anything in terms of breaking their economy. Enough for Cajun to buy an AWP MSL, could even buy a secondary one if needed, and they are just going to have a full buy back on the board. However, JW now gets an AWP, so there's a silver lining, but it's getting to a point where the silver's very, very faded. It's basically turning to grey.
We certainly have to give them credit for pinning them down and coming up with that style of play, but they are running out of lifetimes. There is no 9 lives cat scenario here, Tom. It's getting very bleak as they are just going to be doing a bit of an aggressive push. A quick trade coming in. MSL actually going to pull ahead, taking down Pronex to walk away with the advantage. Godsent, they're looking towards JW to try and really find himself a couple of picks. He's the man to watch over towards this A site, playing around those boxes, but he's being pushed in from short, spots Config out, goes for the shot, won't quite land it, and Config is there to claim his head. Which means that now JW, he's up on a pike, dead over on the site, and Schneider and Crims, the last 2 remaining, to hold Dignitas from getting to match point.
Yeah, already only 2 players now left to challenge. Schneider has a rifle at least, but Crims is left with the Deeg. Looking like we are going to be going to maybe only 22 rounds in this game. Already Crims will lose his life. Should be a trade frag for Schneider, but it's not anything to really write home about at this stage. A crazy amount of rounds, just, well, it's still that factor. They haven't won a buy round. They haven't managed to really do too much. They've had a couple of rounds where you could have said, okay, yeah, they managed to get the bomb down, but the retakes from Dignitas were very, very good. Magisk finding at least a kill or 2 every single time when they were on A from long. In terms of getting the bomb down on the B site, I'm not even sure they managed to achieve it at all, because the crossfire from Rubino and MSL
didn't really go there that much.
Yeah, but when they did, they got obliterated.
They went short. What felt like 8 or 9 times. The B site only felt like 2 or 3. Wanted to see something more towards mid. It's just, there wasn't really much variance. And now the problem is, as much as we can talk about variance and where they went and where things fell apart, it doesn't matter. Dignitas, they're on 15. They're about to pick up the first map of this BO3 series. And Godsent, well, currently, they're hedging their bets on either one hell of a monumentous comeback or going over to Overpass.
Magisk already finding the first kill in what looks to be the end of the first map. This is the pick of Dignitas, but I don't think anybody was going along those lines of, yeah, you know what, the picks are definitely going to be easily won. It seems like a very easy prospect at the moment for Dignitas. Either way, they are going to take over mid. There isn't too much presence there at all. In fact, 2 players currently up on short, ready for an A hit, leaving just 1, Schneider on B. And if they are going to split this B site, I think this is all but done. It would probably be anyway, but at the same time, this is going to leave Schneider with so much to do. I don't even think that they know yet. They're just crawling up mid, slow walking all the way, and he's about to get shot in the back the second they push through the site. B site down. 3 versus 5 on the B site with normal weapons. Almost impossible. With utility, yeah, it gets a little bit easier. They have nothing.
No, just pistols. It's just, they will find themselves 1 frag, but occasionally be quick to find the trade. At this point, there is a rifle in the hands of Pronex. That's quickly going to be dropped, and at this point, there really is no hope. I don't want to really sugarcoat this one. flusha, he's in a 1 versus 4. There is going to be no crazy moments this time around. The first map is going to go to Dignitas in a very successive fashion, 16-5.
Yeah, and a bludgeoning. Just absolutely destroyed Godsent, and they're going to have to reset quite hard to come back into the next game. They are going, of course, onto Overpass, and, well, hopefully this will be a better map for them, although against NIP, it wasn't anything to really write home about, and I definitely feel like it's a decent map, especially with this sort of lineup. I feel like Danish teams in general are big fans of Overpass when you look at it, so in terms of what's going to be coming up, I do feel like there's a chance that Dignitas may even take this 2-0. If it goes to Train, I am a little bit more skeptical because I'm still not too sure whether or not this is a map that Dignitas particularly expected to play or even wanted to play, because they haven't been playing it. Whether they have something like ready, this would be a nice time to use it to get yourself through to the later stages of the game. But either way, there's not really too much. I feel like the analysts are going to have a bit of a tough job other than saying, yeah, Godsent, they just got wrecked.
For me, what I'm looking towards now is this second map, purely on the basis and almost the fact that the big thing that was mentioned by the analysts is that they expect the full 3-map Monty. And I'm always expecting to see the performance come out from Godsent on the second map, purely just down to that. I don't think that they're going to roll on over and allow this to be a 2-0 purely on the sake of pride almost. They have the raw skill. Yeah. Right now, it seems to be just purely down to the tactical way they're going about and positioning themselves. If they just add a little bit more variance, go in with a bit more of a pragmatic style of play, could see a vastly different side from them.
Yeah, either way, there's no point trying to guess what the analysts are thinking when we have them here. So after this short break, we will be going back to them where they can give their thoughts on the first map.
Well,
Gaming Bets, online betting for every esports fan. Dota 2 and Hearthstone, CSGO and Overwatch, StarCraft 2, the choice is yours. Express bets for multiple matches or live bets on the game you are watching right now. Know your way around Dota 2, make a prediction for picks and bans. Playing CSGO, guess the number of rounds in a certain match. Daily quests for all participants and all the best choice of payment systems. More than 600,000 users have already made their bets on the spectacular matches since 2011. EGB.com. You know for sure who's gonna win.
Getting tired of playing with the usual skins, but don't have enough money to buy a new one? Get rich fast with CSGoFast.com. CSGoFast. It's a strong chance of winning in every game. Several rooms with different game modes. Daily, more than 1,000 games, 5,000 players, and 25,000 skins at stake. You don't need much in order to sweep the board.
Dota 2 and Hearthstone, CSGO and StarCraft 2, the largest contests in the history of esports among the national teams. World Electronic Sports Games, the World Championship with the total prize pool of $4.5 million. Registration for Europe and CIS regions is open. The finals will be held from October 6 to 9 in Kiev, Ukraine. Win your slot in the finals of the World Championship. Register